5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
What's going on, Brett?
Same old stuff. Of course, we started the podcast like 20 minutes ago. We just never started it.
We always do that, man. We always sit down and we start talking, and then we're like, oh, we got to save that for the podcast. It's so funny. People can see us behind the scenes where, we start talking the minute we get in the house. So Brett brought some, first of all, before we go any further, we are wearing pink today. And this was unrehearsed, by the way.
Yeah.
I wear this for work very, very often. But Brett today showed up with pink representing.
Yep.
So we are definitely supporting breast cancer awareness. Definitely go out and get your mammograms and all those things to stay healthy.
Yep. Stay on top of the health. I was psyched. It's even though it was a little warm for a flannel. I typically wouldn't wear a dress shirt, unless I'm going to like a wedding or a funeral. So I do have a pink dress shirt because it's like one of my favorite color shirts. Yeah. But I don't have anything like short sleeves. So I was like, yes, I can start wearing my pink flannel because, it's a little bit cooler. Even today I had it on in the afternoon. I'm like, oh, maybe this was a bad idea.
See, I can't wear flannels because I will start sweating like right off the rip, and it's not good. Although, since I got on your trick of the crystals for I'm telling you, man, it changed my whole yeah, and I think it helped me detoxify at the same time. So I don't have that. I mean, I've only happened like once or twice, but that's because I didn't use anything in the morning, and I was out doing yard work and stuff because it was just like futile to even put anything on.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a difference! I've been telling all sorts of people about
that
that.
Stuff.
What a difference! And then like I told him, I said, it took me a few days to get through the barrier of like still having to detoxify a little bit. And, your body was, but my t-shirts are better, and that's the thing. I wear dress shirts every day. So having t-shirts, clean white t-shirts without the nastiness, that's important.
Yeah, because all the nastiness is coming from all the
it's all the pit stain.
Yeah. But it's everything you're putting in there, now it's just, it's all clean and you just keep the bacteria away a little bit. It's
brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know. How'd you ever come across that before?
Brian, you remember Brian Duran?
Oh yeah, that's right. You did tell me. Yeah.
So his mom, like, she was into a lot of natural stuff, and when we were in like middle school or high school, I went up and spent a weekend at her house with him, and she had it. I'm like, what the hell is that? Just the one I use. It looks like a crystal, kind of like a quartz crystal.
Yeah.
But round, And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like a magic, like a crystal on the bathroom sink. And he's like, oh no, that's deodorant. So when I started having issues, whatever, 25, 30 years later, with, like basically chemical burns on my arms from deodorant, I'm like, I need to get, that thing. Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if it's still around. And I found it at, originally I found it up at River Valley Market up in Northampton.
Right.
Yeah. And then I use still like the crystal rock. My wife uses probably more like you have. It's almost like a roll on. Yeah. Like where the crystal's there.
So I use those in conjunction with each other a little bit. Just so I start, like the phasing out of that and just go with just the crystal. But yeah, what a difference, man.
Yeah. And what I like about it is like you can't overdo it.
Right.
Like I'll hit each one of my underarms like 3 times, and I go all over here, and because I'm like, well, if bacteria is bacteria, so it'll creep. If I make this whole area like, barren of bacteria, or unfriendly as the label says, so and you can't overdo it. You're not going to get smudges on anything or be overbearing, with your smell. My son uses it too. My 19-year-old too.
Yeah, that was perfect. And today you brought some little bit of wholesome goodness today because you pulled this out and I was like, my ears perked up.
It's been dangerous.
Yeah, so this is Cider Donut Unfiltered Craft Cider.
Yeah, down east, which is Massachusetts. I think they're a Boston cider house, cider maker, whatever you call it. But I've been, I'm like way ahead of you. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's okay. There's no judgment here.
So I had this on draft at a small like bar / restaurant up in Orange that we stumbled across for lunch randomly, and we'd never heard of it, and it was amazing. And I'll say that this is good, but the draft is way better. And then I've had it
Oh my God, man, this is dangerous.
And I've had it one or two other times. I think you know where they have it locally on draft is somewhat local to you is the Boathouse at Brunel's Marina.
Okay, yep.
And they give you a little cinnamon sugar caramel rim.
Oh, there you go.
Which is really good for the calorie intake.
Yeah.
On top of whatever.
I guess if you're drinking this, you're not really. Yeah, this is like a
liquid apple pie.
Yeah, or liquid cider donut, man. I mean, it's and I'm drinking it in my TS Mobile glass.
Yes.
So shout out to Tony Shukes for hooking me up with the glass, coming on the podcast. He's an all-around just stand-up dude.
I love that guy. Yep.
We are so I got to tell you, I bought another golf cart. Did I tell you?
Another one.
Yeah, I was
just going to ask you if you were getting if and when you were getting some stuff done to the other one. So now you have two?
So I have two now. Yep. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the first one that my buddy surprised me with. Shout out to Ken. He and Dave for doing all that. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to take that first one, we're going to pimp it out, and then we're going to auction it off at the Shriners at the camp we go to. Every year we do a Shriners.
Oh, like where you won the bar and stuff? Was that same thing? Or
yeah. Well, did you see what I won this time?
Was that the griddle box?
No, so I'll show you this
you
too.
You told me something.
It's so a friend of ours at camp does woodworking with chainsaws.
Right. Oh, it was the bench.
It's two big bears on both sides,
the bench.
and then a live edge piece of wood in the middle for the bench.
Yeah.
And so my buddy's last name is Bear, and he's like, dude, I want to win that. I'm like, consider it done, because I've won the last couple of prizes, major prizes. So I have a system that I do, and it's crazy because I learned this system from another friend of mine, and I don't know if it's a real secure system, but it works. And I've had multiple prizes to prove that it works. So this is the new one. So that's also
that's a nice one.
Yeah. Picked it up for a couple grand.
Yeah. I've been shopping since I've been.
Oh, have you really? Yeah.
For seasonals and stuff. I've been shopping a little bit. Yeah.
Well, they this one, we got to take some stuff off it, but it needs to be cleaned up. They took fairly good care of it for the most part. They're getting they're building another one from scratch. There's a guy out in Rhode Island, I guess. You bring him the body, and he'll rebuild it from the ground up. He sprays the undercarriage down. Like he goes through this thing.
Golf cart?
Yeah, and basically it'll last you forever.
Really?
I mean, other than the batteries every so many years, but
yeah.
So those batteries are only like 4 years old. So technically they should be fairly good,
as long as they took care of them, based on the instructions and stuff.
Yeah. Did you see the shifter, like the old Hirsch shifter? He seems like to be a car guy, but you can see it right there in the middle.
Oh, that's awesome!
Right?
I would totally do that. And it's missing now is remember the gas pedal? It looks like a foot.
Oh yeah,
well, hot rod gas pedal.
It's they're kind of dirty, but they are.
It's like a brake one, right?
Yeah. So
but they're aluminum.
Aluminum, yeah. So it does have that little bit of a flare,
Yeah.
So we're gonna take that other one, and we're gonna, like I said, auction it off at the Shriners. We apparently this year the camp got put on the brick for being like over $100,000.
Donors. Oh,
yeah.
So what the camp? Do they do stuff like year round?
Every year,
and it's always benefit Shriners.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
My son was a Shriners kid, like from
no kidding,
from a week old. Yeah.
Oh wow.
He had club feet.
Oh no kidding.
And which we knew, they discovered it via ultrasound, and so we were fully expecting it and kind of like pre-checked in at Shriners. And that is the most amazing organization I've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
Like, hands down, especially, don't even get me started just on the, medical industry, period. They are above, beyond, and so far away.
Yeah.
From your typical experience.
Yep.
And it's all free.
Right.
The first couple of years we went, they wouldn't even take our insurance information.
Really?
Like, not even just to charge like whatever the insurance would pay. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, at least I'm like, I understand if you don't want to charge people who don't have insurance, or, have them pay their deductible. But the insurance will always have like a certain amount. And then eventually they started saying, hey, we're going to start at least billing your insurance for whatever they pay. But anyway, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome that they donate that much to
yeah,
because it's very near and dear to my heart. And
so I got to talk to Tony about what he can do for me, because I know he loves to do that kind of stuff.
You've seen some of the
oh yeah,
awesome.
So it's not till next September, I think. So we have time. So even if I kept it there and I just let him work on it in between,
Yeah, if you tell him it's for something like that, he'll go crazy, and of course he'll slap his logos on it. But that's cool, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's if someone's gonna get it for free, he's definitely can throw his name on there and stuff like that. He just does some cool stuff, and he's gonna get my new one and do some stuff on that one too. I don't need as much, but definitely some new lights. Yeah. There's a stereo system that I guess is not connected, but I'll have him do that.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be fun.
I know that's probably like one of the most exciting things about me thinking about getting like a seasonal campsite is like I'm gonna get a golf cart.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go to TS Mobile.
So did you get a seasonal site yet?
No, not yet. I was holding out for that place down in Stafford.
Yep.
I really think like that it makes sense for me and for the family. It just seems more family oriented. Like I want a place where like my kids, who are all varying ages, like when we're like, hey, we're going to to the camp for the weekend, I want them to be excited about it instead of just like, all right, and so that's why I like what they have going on down there. But they told me to call back October 1st. Since October 1st, I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody.
Oh, don't you hate that, man?
No one answered the phone. Called 3-4 times on the 1st, called 3-4 times on the 2nd, sent them a email or a message through Facebook, which in the past they've responded to me.
Yeah.
Nothing. I called today. Finally got someone to answer.
Was it you that sent me the one that is this the place that's under construction?
Nope, that's the other place I went to.
Okay, all right.
And they had some, we went and walked it, and it's like a lot of the sites aren't even sites yet.
Oh, wow.
They got like the roads cleared out and brand new pool. They got a brand new game.
That's what it was, yeah.
And they're putting in a second pool. So
really?
It's gonna be, so what they have is like there's like a big pool that's brand new right up front, and there's like it's gonna be a bathhouse and like a rec hall, right? And those were both like mid-construction, like, shells and roofs and being, electrical being run. And then a bunch of rows, and then all the way up top, all the way in the back of the camp, I forget what it's called, like Bluebird Lane or something, and it's like 50 and over seasonals if they want it. So if you want to be away from the madness and stuff, it's like on the opposite side of camp, like the pool and the rec hall and all that stuff. And there's even like a field for games and stuff. So it's all the way in the back, and they're going to have their own pool, adults only pool.
Oh, nice.
So like I like that, and like we walked and drove the entire thing, walked some of it. And you could see like, and I think I told you it was an old campground that closed down in like the 90s. And this guy like bought some extra land and just like is expanding and basically redoing everything. Like there's a couple sites that you could tell were pre-existing. The rest of it just looks like a brand new campground.
No kidding.
Except for the office, which I don't know if he's going to change, but the office is the only thing that looks like it stayed.
Yeah.
So like I see a lot of potential. I'm not a pool person. Like I have like kayaks, and like my kids like my youngest especially likes to fish. Like I was hoping for like a pond, which the other place has, plus a water slide and like that.
Yeah.
So like, but what I do like about this one campground is, other than like 10 sites, you got your pick.
Right.
It usually, I mean, you experienced it. Like you want to get into a seasonal spot, it's like you wait till something's open, and then you just take what they give you.
Yeah.
This is like, pick your site, man.
Oh.
Yeah. So like I have it. Like I have the site picked out. We walked it, and I'm like, okay, if we come here, this is it. And actually, just because I can't get a hold of the other place, I just contacted this guy today, and he's like, I think it's still available.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Crazy thing to me is like this one's actually a little bit more expensive than the one with the lake and the pool and all the high dive and all the other. Well, you saw the website the other joint, but.
Now you're gonna go every weekend?
I don't know.
Because that's the conundrum, right?
Yeah.
Like you spend this kind of money, and because we're gonna go every weekend only because it's literally right down the street. So, we actually just called yesterday, I think, and expanded it to 4 more weeks. Because there's 2 weeks in April, I think, when it opens, and 2 weeks you have in October. So I'm like, well, it's not really worth those 2 weeks, but it kind of is because you can get in there early, start setting things up. I'll probably take a vacation then.
So now did you get a seasonal spot?
No, but we have one of the best sites in the park.
And how long did they let you book it for?
We actually got it for the whole year.
So you just basically paid by the week?
Paid by the month.
Paid by the month?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
so you're kind of like seasonal, but just you got to do the same thing next year if you want it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, they said there's a 5 to 6 year waiting period now, which is really unheard of. Every year at the park, it was like 1 to 2 years, you know, you definitely get it. Now with COVID happening, everybody wants to camp.
Oh, yeah.
And they are just so good to us. I mean, technically we're not seasonals yet, and they treat us just like seasonals. And the owners are phenomenal. They're such friendly people.
Surprised they can't just like make the site you have a seasonal.
Well, you know, it's a premium site, and I get it. You know, it's one of those sites where they probably do a little bit better on, and I get it. But where it is though, it's surrounded by seasonals. You know, the whole middle is monthlies or weekenders.
Yeah.
But that one, it would make a perfect seasonal site. So I mean, who knows, man? One day, you know, they might say, we love this guy enough where we give him the seasonal.
Yeah.
But you know, the problem is going to be, and we're fully aware, and I keep telling her, when we're in this site for the whole year, don't you got to kind of wipe the image out of your mind. Like, this is what our season is going to look like.
Because you're not going to deck it out that much, because you're going to have to pull it down.
Yeah. And the chances are the first site we're going to get is probably going to be undesirable.
Yep. And you'll have to wait.
The good thing is when you finally become seasonal, now you get first dibs on the next seasonal that opens up. Like, there's a pecking order again. So the odds of you getting a better site, you might have to move like every couple of years in order to get to that
but then
site.
Eventually you get that one that you want. Yeah. That's cool.
So, you know, with the wife having a brain injury, I would rather something a little bit in the outskirts of the park where it's a little more quiet.
Yeah.
But we just love being there. We love being there with my friends, and you know, my best friend's there. So,
I mean, that's
been perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, so if he's up there every weekend, you know, then you get to hang out every weekend. I mean, that's the dream right there.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. I want to find a spot that like I wouldn't mind going to every weekend, because we like to go places, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of trying to find a seasonal place so I can park the larger camper that I just bought and still keep my pop-up for like the weekend excursions.
Oh, that's right, because you still have the pop-up, yeah.
Right. Like, I don't want to sell it. You know, I got a good deal on it, and
you know, so this park that I'm going to, you can't have a camper that's more than 10 years old, I believe.
Yeah, so a lot of places do that.
Yeah, which is weird to me, but I guess, you know, I mean, even older campers still look fairly decent.
Well,
you know,
but what that does is it eliminates them to have the conversations. The people who have an old camper that hasn't been cared for are the people with seasonals who just like. I'm sure you've been to those campgrounds where like there's that seasonal with the crotchety old guy, you know, and it's like the roof's half caved in and it's fucking got about 10 years of pine needles on top, right? Yeah. And it's like, you know, a 1923 Airstream, you know, made out of plywood.
Yeah.
You know, but they can't be like, I mean, obviously rules are rules, but that's a pretty good way to just have to avoid even having those conversations with the guy. Well, I've been here 20 years and this is, you know, never been an issue or, you know, whatever that is. But, you know, I do a lot of camping, you know, sometimes in campgrounds, sometimes not. So I've seen like, and every time I'm like, I can't believe they allow that. Like,
well, I think you know what it is too. So this campground, as long as it's 10 years or younger, you can have it. And if you go over the 10 years, as long as you don't move a site, you can keep it there.
Right.
The minute you move a site, you have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
And every weekend they have music. You know, the problem is the wife can't really stay that long because it's so loud.
Yeah.
So she has to bring her earplugs and all that stuff, and you know the lights and stuff bother her. So, but it's nice for her because she used to have such an appreciation for music, and since the brain injury, music has been just a no-go for her.
Yeah, it's just not even enjoyable.
Yeah, like. We never have music here at the house.
Yeah.
Very rarely. And if I do, I have to be outside, usually with my earbuds on.
Really? I couldn't. I'm like music going. Actually, when I work, oddly enough, I don't like it.
Do you really?
Because I get too into the music and I kind of can't focus.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing anything else, like I wake up in the morning, you know, on the weekend, start cooking breakfast, music. You know, if I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like music. In the car, like I'd rather not talk, even if it's a car full of people. I'd rather just listen to music. Like, you know. That would be tough for me. I mean, I understand, you know, you have to do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, it's admirable. Like, you know,
it's tough though, but sometimes I'm like just leave the house for a little while so I can go listen to music. It's so sad.
Yeah.
But you know, I feel so bad for her too, because like I remember we first started dating, and just before the injury, we'd be outside with that radio going. And one thing I used to love that she used to do, she was a huge Red Sox fan. I was really embarrassing that I could be in a room full of guys and they started talking Red Sox, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. She come in and start rattling stats, rattling players, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. But I've never been a sports fan. I've been MMA. I've been never been a race car guy.
Zero sports.
Yeah, I just they don't do nothing. I'll watch it. Like if I go over someone's house and they got the game,
I'm not gonna be like I gotta
enjoy
go.
it.
Yeah, but I've never. I don't know. I just people, you know. And I guess I'm passionate about different things. You know, that people aren't. You know, I'm a fucking beekeeper and I chicken. You know, weird shit. But like that's what I put the time where I would probably be like, you know, my Sunday afternoon where like, you know, you're sitting down watching football. Like I'm like tending to the chickens, I guess, you know, I don't know.
Well, you know what I want to start doing now? And so I don't know about you, but do you obsess when you start, like you get a hobby and you obsess about it?
So, yeah. And I think I know we talked about this at one point. I think when Nate Garib was here, and I was like, you know, I like him spending that much time and being that intense about MMA, like just about everything. I have like, I don't know, I might have undiagnosed ADD, but I get something to just about everything to 80%.
Yeah.
And then I'm done. But that 80%,
it's hardcore.
It's hardcore. And then honestly, like once I have it figured out,
yep.
I'm like, okay, well, I got this. You know, if I ever need to do it again, okay, I got it. And then I'm out. Like, and then I move on to the next thing. Like, well, I'm driving my wife crazy right now with like pickling and canning shit, you know, because like there's books and, you know, all kinds of seasonings and spices. I got cases of jars. I got all kinds of fruits and veggies and shit. and like the kitchen is like bombarded with canning jars. She's like, what's going on with this shit? And she's like, you're going to lose interest and these are going to sit here for like a month, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, probably, you know, like once I've fucking pickled everything, you know, but that's, so yeah, to answer your question, you know, in a long story, like I'm all in.
Oh, you really? Yeah.
But then I'm just like, I'm kind of done with this.
Oh, that's so funny. So I want to get into doing models again.
I used to love that. I'm too shaky.
I don't know why I got out of models. I used to do models back when I was young. Mm-hmm. And so I pictured myself, because like at the camp on Saturdays, people like to go do their thing. Like people, because we're out so late and they want to sleep in there in the morning. I'm a morning person. So 5 o'clock, I'm like, I'm up. And I guess I could work on the podcast, but I want to do something like different, and I want to do something where I have to take my time and just like meditate on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so I'm a huge sci-fi fan. So every night before I go to bed now, I've been on YouTube looking at models and stuff. And I'll tell you what, these guys take these models to a whole new level, man. And
I thought I was good. Like when I was doing them, you know, like 6th, 7th grade, probably like, you know, hot rods and shit.
Yeah.
Like getting real detailed. And then I see what people are doing.
It's crazy.
I'm like, I'm a fucking joke.
I felt stupid watching this one guy. So he does this Star Wars thing. And he looked at a picture. So he has a picture hanging up on. Oh, before I get into that, it's crazy their world around them, right? And so he walks everybody into this room, and it looks like he finished his basement. But he had these tables set up all along the walls, like all, I think 3 corners. Remember the old office boxes that you get for all your files, and you have a cover for it? Yeah. So he has those. I think they're 3 deep. I don't know how many back they were, but I'll just suppose they're 1, but they're 3 high, all the way down, all the way across, and they're filled with just trinkets. So he'll go to like a tag sale and be like, "Oh, I can take that car apart. I'll take all the wheels off it and the hood off it."
Oh, and like
totally dismantle it.
Kind of cannibalize it and use the parts for
all these things he's doing, right? So, and I'll have to show you the videos. They're insane, man. Like this guy takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he's like, I'm cheap. Like I hate spending money, but I'm obsessed with what I'm doing. So this is what he does. So one part of the video, he shows this room where he dismantles everything. I mean, it's piles of shit, and they're not big stuff. Like everything is like
all
this
little
big
scale stuff.
Yep. And one of the scores was he had a hobby shop that went out of business, And the guy was just like, pennies on the dollar. So he went in there and he goes, I was just laying money down.
I'll take it all.
Yeah. So one wall on the other side is all the models. There's just floor to ceiling.
Boxes.
He got those plastic shelving units that you just slap together.
Yep.
Just filled packed. You couldn't, you can't even stick a finger
Looks
in
like
there.
a hobby shop.
Yeah.
But it's this dude's
right?
basement or whatever.
Yeah. And so he's showing us this Star Wars thing that he did. And so one of it's a house. And then on both sides they have this like round containers.
Oh, so he's not just doing like vehicle models. He's doing like.
Yeah. So he does what they call scratch, where he does things with like on a like paper mache.
Oh, so he's almost like a sculptor.
Yeah. Like corrugated board.
Yeah. He's sculpting
Construction
shit.
paper. Yeah.
Okay. So is that what you're talking about?
No. But
okay.
but this is how. So he incorporates those models that come in that you regular have.
Oh, he builds like little habitats for him.
Yeah,
kind of like a railroad set.
Yeah. So if he looks at the box and he sees like a scenery in the back, he tries to replicate that scenery, even though because it doesn't come in the box.
Wow.
So he was like, I was trying to figure out how to put these round things on, and then I looked in my cupboard and I was eating some protein powder, and he goes. And I took all that protein, dumped it in another container because that was the perfect size.
The container.
And then he goes, I saw a vacuum cleaner on the side of the road. I know that particular brand because I've dismantled one before.
Had like a part in it.
There's 2 filters. So he puts the filters on top. And I'm telling you, man, he has like an eye. Yeah. He can look at something and remember what that looks like.
Yeah.
And then see something I can make into
like
that.
Some random part. Like, I took apart a food processor in '88, and the inside looked just like that.
Yeah, and his wife. So part of the video was his wife, and she was just like, "Oh my god!" Like, I guess nothing in the house goes to waste because that's what he'll do. If anything breaks, he's like strips it. And he had a whole box full of chip boards and all that kind of stuff, and he just takes these things off, and then he paints over it. Yeah. So. He took Red Bull cans, put them. God, this thing is killing me. Put them on its side, and then took straw on a couple of them, and then this old kids' toys that had like some old ductwork. He stripped that out, and then painted them. So this whole thing looks like it was a sewer, right? With these he took big generators.
Yeah.
I mean, and he took it all out and made it all out of scratch, like just random stuff.
Just pieced all together.
Cardboard.
Yeah.
Like just crazy stuff.
So I wonder what happens. So he gets like his can opener dies, right? And he gets a new one. He loves the can opener, so he buys a brand new one, right? Same exact model, puts it on the counter, takes the can opener, uses it, right? Uses this piece. It's like the perfect piece for whatever model he's building. And like a year later, he sees something. He's like, damn, he's like, that can opener. Next thing you know, he's like, honey, I need the can opener.
But it was crazy. And that's what I don't want to do, though. I don't want to become that obsessive.
Yeah.
Because, like, after you're done, like, you get that crazy. And his whole bottom of his floor, every room that he went in he had a Star Wars theme. He had planes and stuff like that. And he said, I don't really sleep. I model when I'm not at work. I come down here and I work all hours of the night. He goes, I might get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
But when I get a project, I obsess until it's done. And this piece had to be the size of the table, right? Multi-dimensional. And he said he got this done in a few days. Painted, and I'm not,
And this is constructed from nothing.
Nothing. He took
scrap pieces and shit out of boxes.
Yeah, what do you call that? Foam core?
Yep.
So he did a bunch with that. He even makes his own bricks. So some of this thing had bricks on there. He does it with construction paper and something else and makes these little lines and cuts the bricks out on his own and then reapplies them to everything. Like, come on, man. How do you have the time? Don't even mention the mental fortitude it takes to sit there for that long. But that's his gig. I mean, I guess he could be doing meth. If this is the worst he's doing.
Or maybe he is doing math. And that's why he can't get any sleep. And maybe he's doing it just to keep up with modeling. He's like, I got to finish that. Where's that math?
And he showed on the video his first model. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I got so mad at myself for that horrible model. That's where my obsession came to make those things.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, you obviously own your own house, but what happens when you have to move, or you're probably at that point you don't ever move, or you die and someone has to come in here and deal with this.
Yeah.
And every inch of the place, you could walk.
His whole house is like dioramas, basically.
The whole downstairs is all.
It's like a village.
It's like a village.
Like those people who have the giant railroad sets.
Yeah.
Like with houses and, fireplaces burning and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Except it's like Star Wars type stuff, or is it everything?
Everything. So he does all sorts of stuff. He does villages. He does cities.
So that one particular one was like a Star Wars one, but he has like everything. Like
yeah.
He's building his own world.
Yep.
It's like Peytonville. Did you see that commercial?
No.
It's like one of those stupid insurance commercials, and it, I forget which insurance, but it's like, it's got Peyton Manning, and he's got his entire basement, and it's like,
I did see that,
like giant, like a big model town, and he's like, oh, this is Peytonville, and there's Jane, she needs her car insurance or whatever, but yeah, Peytonville.
Then he was showing, like, as he's cutting things, he's like, yeah, I don't throw anything out, so I'll just throw that in this box. Then he has a day where he goes through those boxes and then takes everything out of there and puts them in the corresponding boxes that are along the side.
Oh, so he has one day where he categorizes shit. It's like there's a dump bin, and then once a week he like organizes it.
Dude, it's crazy.
Obsessive.
And he seemed like a really normal guy. Like, he didn't seem like a nut.
Until you saw his basement.
And you're like, that guy's a fucking serial killer.
Like, over here is where I hide the bodies. I mean, this is where, we have boxes of parts.
This is the meat tunnel where the train goes through.
Here's the grinder.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. But,
Do you want another cider, or do you want to go to Bud Light? I brought a
Yeah, I'm going to go with a Bud Light because this is really sweet.
Yeah. And it's a little acidic, too, probably for you. Like, all the apple juice.
Yeah, I don't really drink that kind of stuff very often. So, yeah.
To say, like, a little burping and stuff. So,
I'll do that with this, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's anything carbonated. I can't, yeah. Which is weird because I drink seltzer all day long.
I don't
really burp. But I drink this stuff, and it's game on.
Seltzer makes me burp twice as much.
Does it really? Yeah?
Yep. Yeah.
I got to drink more water.
I can't drink water.
I have a hard time,
too. A little lemon, but then I get bored with that. Like seltzers, I could rifle through those. Like, 12 a day, 18 a day.
Do you ever do the flavor packets?
I don't like all the artificial stuff.
Well, there's one. We'll have to ask the wife when we go back upstairs. She buys one off Amazon or Walmart. It's like the healthy version. So it's like the essence. It's just crystallized. So one of them was like strawberry melon infused or something.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of probably like freeze dried fruit or something, and it drops in and flavors it a little.
Yeah.
See, that I'd be interested in. When I was really dieting very strictly, I wasn't drinking any alcohol, and the only thing I would drink was Crystal Light. Like, that was proved.
I love Crystal Light.
I do too, but I was just like, oh man, there's so much weird shit in here I can't pronounce. Like,
when I was a kid, we lived off that.
Yeah.
My mother was in Weight Watchers all the time. Crystal Light was her gig. Remember, it used to stain.
Oh yeah,
because it's so so pungent.
Still does.
Yeah, does it really? I haven't had it in a while.
Yeah.
I've had the offshoot brands, but
my parents actually had to replace their living room set because like my dad always had like Crystal Light on hand, and one of my kids puked up Crystal Light on his couch.
Oh man!
And it was like, luckily he had like the stain-proof protection or some shit, where they replace it.
Yeah,
because it was like a wicked expensive couch.
Oh.
And
it's another reason not to have kids.
Yeah, and it was like fruit punch, Crystal Light fruit punch. So it was just like big red stain.
Oh my god!
And but yeah, the stuff still does stain. It's just you can't get it out.
I wonder what it's made out of.
Exactly.
We'll have to dissect that one day. Yeah. Grab a package and Google everything on it.
Phenylketonuria, phenylalanine, glycol bicarbonate.
All cancer-causing agents.
I made that last one up for sure. But so I brought, and I think maybe it'll just be a thing. We'll call it, "Can you pickle this?" So I brought pickled cherry tomatoes, and I know we talked about it earlier. So I have a farm share at Red Fire Farm. Love that place, and so first of all, they have I didn't know this many varieties of cherry tomatoes existed. So you can tell us by looking in the jar. There's like not one that looks the same. They have it's like a full acre of just different cherry tomatoes, and it was pick your own, take as many as you want.
Oh wow!
Towards the end of the season, they have like certain quantities that are included with your share. Like first couple of weeks we went, it was like I'll only take a quart or whatever, and then towards the end of the season they just they're starting to spoil, so they're just like take what you can. So I did a take what you can, and I filled like a big bag, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with all these. I don't want them to turn, so I found a recipe, and I pickled cherry tomatoes. Didn't know it was a thing, and a lot of people think, like me, when I hear pickling, I immediately associate like dill, like pickles. But pickling is just a process. Usually involves something highly acidic, like a vinegar, but it doesn't have to taste like a crunchy dill pickle.
Yep.
And this was like my first, test like into that. I've had like dilly beans, which again, like include some dill. I've pickled garlic, pickled eggs. I guess they don't taste dill. Pickled kielbasa. I've had like you put anything in pickling,
sure, and
I love it. This is rosemary and garlic and a little bit of sugar. And do you like cherry tomato? Do you like tomatoes?
I'm a fan with tomatoes with certain things.
Yeah,
I'll definitely eat them. I'm definitely not. They don't scare me at all. But yeah, it looks like you have a couple different kinds in there.
So yeah, then that's what I was saying. It's just all kinds of different varieties of cherry tomatoes. So I'm gonna go up. I've had a couple. This is new to me.
Yep.
But I would encourage
that's
you.
That's pretty strong. I can smell it.
Yeah. So I mean, again, that's vinegar. Couple things. They're like super super juicy because it's just been soaking in liquid.
Yeah.
And they're not like crisp because they've been soaking in vinegar.
So what's this purple one?
Just a tomato.
And they just turn colors like this as they're pickling?
No. That's what they come like off the vine.
Same kind of.
They're all just different varieties of cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying. Do you know what this variety is?
Oh, that I don't know. No, because they have them labeled, but I really don't care. I just grabbed a bunch of them. It was pretty good, right?
Dude, that's super good, man. Oh, you have this little bit of a sour, but then that sweet comes through.
Yeah.
Is that a pepper?
Mm-mm. I think there is.
I think you just had a pepper.
No.
It's
the only pepper.
It must have been one of these, like a little bit smaller.
A little bit small one, yeah. I did put a jalapeno in here to kick the spice up a little bit, which didn't really even register, at least not for me. I know those pickles I brought with the Scotch bonnets in them, those had a little heat to them. Those are so good.
Ooh, those were brutal. Wow. That would be fantastic on a salad. A little vinaigrette on top.
Oh, the purple ones were crispy. Was yours crispy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were really sweet, though. That was super sweet. I'm going to have one more.
They all do have a little bit different flavor, based on the variety. Like I said, I was just grabbing.
Trying to find one of those purple ones.
That might be jalapeno right there. Oh, there you go.
Get rid of that garlic. Even though I'm a huge garlic fan.
Pickled garlic's actually one of my favorite things. Big purple ones over here. All right, I'm having one more, and then we'll call it. But yeah,
super crunchy. Definitely home run. I mean, you could blast through that jar in no time. It
was crazy because I brought home what I thought was a ton of tomatoes, and I only had enough to make 2 jars. I'm
wow,
like, well, this was kind of disappointing. And by the time I went back, and I was kind of okay with it at that point because I didn't know if I was going to like them. So I'm like, well, worst case, I only wasted 2 jars worth of tomatoes.
Right.
And then, I did it, let them sit for a few days, get the flavors kind of, sit in. And I opened it. I'm like, man, this is really good. I'm like, man, I kind of wish I did more than 2 jars. And by the time I went back, most of the tomatoes were kind of,
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go. Adventures in pickling. Help yourself throughout the rest of the...
I'm going to have one more. I'll tell you, you know what it is? You start smacking the lips when it's done, and then it's so much flavor still packed in there, you want another one. But you want to wait a minute.
Yeah, so you're not just like piling it on, not enjoying each one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely home run. Good job.
So that's on my list of things to do again is make those, and like all the pickles I made that we sampled. I'm completely out. I made 2 dozen jars. I gave some away and stuff.
Wow.
But like I'll sit down and I'll eat a jar of pickles in a night. I don't feel bad about it because it's like 30 calories.
Now, how long does it take you to get to where you needed that to be for that taste?
So I made these a couple weeks ago, but I didn't open it until like the fourth day.
Mm-hmm.
So I did everything on a weekend and probably tried it and obviously the longer you let it sit, the more the flavor really kicks in. So if you want to taste like this, that's it's probably a week or two or whatever. But they do taste better. I haven't had any probably in like a week, because I ate one jar already.
Yeah.
And this is the second jar that's been, kind of obviously sitting for longer. This one definitely tastes better.
Oh yeah.
It has way more flavor. That rosemary, definitely, is more prevalent. Before it kind of tasted just more vinegary. So this is, I'm curious to see like what would happen if I let them sit around for a couple months.
Yeah.
So
this is awesome. I could do that all day, like legit. It's really good.
Guilt free. Actually, this one has a little bit of sugar in it, so I don't know what the calorie count would be on it. Still better than eating, just about anything you grab at a convenience store.
Yeah, I mean, pick anything out of that convenience store. You're doing way better. So yeah, getting back to the model thing.
Oh yeah, we'll circle way back. So
I want to in my head, because you have these scenarios, that I would be at the camp. Everybody, because no one really does anything till like 11 o'clock or whatever. That was the time, my Zen time, that I would like just to be there, minding my own business, putting these things together, even like on a Saturday morning here.
Yeah.
But like I said, my fear is I want to become obsessed. Like I got obsessed over those colognes, right? So I went and bought another like 5 or 6 different colognes.
Since you talked about them?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So there's no need for that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're good for the rest of your life, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever used a bottle of cologne? I don't think I've ever used a full bottle.
I think, yeah. So I have.
Yeah, maybe one. Maybe there's one.
I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm a cologne guy. Like,
that's maybe it's just me. Because I'm not.
It's in the car. I'm not a sissy sprayer. Like I'm sure I gas people out. Oh my God, this stuff is killing me. So, I think now I'll be okay for the next year.
Yeah.
And then I might move on. But I was looking at some of these models on Amazon.
And so you're looking at sci-fi ones, right? Because you said
I'm a huge sci-fi fan. Okay. I want to get into like the Space Odyssey.
Yep.
I want to get into Star Wars. Or those things are like outrageously expensive.
Of course.
But they had a lot of Battlestar Galactica. Now, this younger generation out there, you can't even appreciate what we're talking about right now. I mean, I guess Star Wars you can, but even like a lot of Lost in Space. So I was, of course, I don't know if the audience knows, but I suffer from insomnia quite often. And I was up this morning at 4 o'clock looking how to do shading with shoe polish. Like this guy was saying, he goes, I get this whole
like brushing it on, like to add, dimension,
depth, and
wow.
and that weathered look,
age patina, I guess,
yeah. And he's like, I'm not spending that kind of money on regular paint. It's like $8. I got this whole thing for $1.99 on sale.
Bless you.
God, I'm sure that's great for the podcast. The burping and the sneezing never fails. I haven't done that all day. I get down here and it's
Bless you.
Oh, I just shot something out of my mouth. I don't know what that was. That'll be on the floor later, I guess.
I'm gonna edit that one out.
Oh, that's staying. That's good. That's good podcast.
Hopefully
right there.
You can get on the lens.
Do you find it creepy that we have a monitor now?
Actually, I don't know if I'm intentionally doing it, but
I've been looking at it.
It's the first time I looked.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. When I said something about the lens, it's the first time that I looked over there. And I don't know if I'm just like trying not to be like look at the camera or if I'm just trying to focus on what we're talking about. But yeah, so it hasn't, at least consciously, it hasn't been creepy. I know it's over there, but maybe that's what I'm like, it's looking at me. I don't know.
Well, it's funny because after we first got that on that night, Cheryl goes, do you find yourself staring at it? Because you didn't have it before. In the camera, you really don't pay attention to. You can't see.
But now, and I can kind of see, in my peripheral, there's movement over there because it's, it's us.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to stare at it. Is it rude if I stare at myself? I don't know.
I just go, look at you, handsome bastard. Definitely, I don't know if I want to dabble into the whole car thing, but then I'm like, okay, I'm a grown man and I'm dabbling in models again. But I definitely remember how just like comforting it was, and like just to have that quiet time and just be able to concentrate on something.
Shit's expensive now.
I know.
Like, remember how much like the things of paint were? They were like $4. They're like 10 now. Those little
tester paints. Oh my god! You know what? Let's go on Amazon and check this out.
So the one thing, even though I've got away from modeling, the one thing that I got ridiculous with, because I have had 3 kids in Boy Scouts / Cub Scouts, is Pinewood Derby.
Right.
So we have like multiple wins, and when I say multiple, I mean like we won every time.
Did you really?
Not just about.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I definitely don't win every time. My kids. But I mean, especially where I really got into it, like I let my kids design it. You know, I helped. You know, I would do the cutting. You know, with the actual saws, because I used like a scroll saw and stuff to cut it.
Yeah.
You know, they do some of the sanding, but paint is where like I made it shine.
Yeah.
Literally, you know, I mean, we had one where I did like a flip flop, you know, paint job, and it was 2 different flip flops where it had like a transition, you know, like where it changed. The first half changed these colors, and the second half changed, and they kind of blended in the middle, you know. And then of course we have like, you know, a vinyl plotter, so I can do like stencils. And,
that's right.
You know, and cutouts and stuff. So, you know, I could either mask things with cool designs or vice versa. And so they looked freaking cool. And then I researched the shit out of how to increase speed, exactly how far back the weights should be, how far deep into the body they should be. I mean, polished axles, you know, with
I can remember doing that with the cloth, polished cloth,
10,000 grit polishing compound.
Yep.
I mean, we went crazy, like bending one axle up so you only have 3 wheels on the ground.
Yep.
Because it's 25% less resistance. Like, I mean, the very last year, so my son just moved into Boy Scouts, so last year Pinewood Derby was the fastest car that, you know, I've been doing it for 12, 15, I don't know, my son's 19, my oldest, so he probably started Scouts when he was, so 15 years I've been making Pinewood Derby cars, you know, on and off. So like I actually had people approaching me this year.
Do you ever keep them and be like, this is my stealth one, no one's ever going to know I kept it, and I'm just...
Oh, we keep them all. Like,
yeah.
You know, like year
use
over
them
year.
again, yeah.
No, we've always redone new ones. The one thing I did do up until the last 2 years was, because I spent so much time polishing the axles, I reuse the axles every year.
Okay.
Just because I put so much work into them.
Yeah.
And then the last couple of years I started over because I just wanted to take it to the next level. But yeah, so you know, I keep looking at modeling, but like I don't know, I can't focus on anything that long anymore. Like I used to be able to spend 6 hours in my room on a Saturday and just like actually only half build a model at that point.
Right.
Now like I can't spend 6 hours doing anything. Like about 30 other things I need to do. So.
Well, I'm trying to get to a point where on the weekends, like I'll mow the lawn and get all that stuff during the week, but I really want to start making Saturday and Sunday, because like Sunday's Xbox day, but Saturday I just want to have like that, I don't know,
wind down
4 hours of just concentrate and just be able to do something from start to finish. And even if that model takes me 5 months to build, I want to be able to get through it in just a little bit at a time and say, I did this. So that's my goal. Like you said the other day, learn a new trick or learning something
learn
new.
New skills,
that's the new skill.
That's
I don't know.
skill.
I mean, I don't know if that's a skill, but I mean, I guess, I'm going to learn how to paint. I'm going to learn how to,
even if you did it before, you're going to be relearning some stuff, and you're going to try to take it to another level. Like,
well, I mean, I think back when I did models before, it was like stick the glue on, put everything together, call it a day.
Yeah.
Some of these videos I'm watching these guys do, like they're taking cars, they're wet sanding the bodies down, spraying them down with primer, and then.
Oh yeah, that's how I used to do it.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
I'm still not that. I'm still not the good. Pinewood Derby is my only claim to fame, but that's I'm kind of one of the reasons I'm hesitant is because I think I might get, kind of like impulsive about it.
Yeah.
And just next thing you know, I did that with RC cars for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I was in RC cars like probably like early high school, middle school, and I got a little obsessive about it, but I didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
And then when I was at Circuit City, I was a sales manager, and my store manager was like, "Oh, check out this RC car!" And like next thing you know, we're all buying like nitro fuel like RC cars, and like I bought the RC car, and then I bought every upgrade that was currently available for it. So it's like it came with an aluminum like chassis, it had to be assembled, and before I even got the car, like I had more parts at my house before I even got the actual car, like the actual car. I still have a brand new chassis because I had to buy the polished aluminum chassis, and then like I didn't like the wheelie bar. I wanted better ones with like and I went nuts. I mean, I was into it for it was bad, because I had a little bit more disposable cash versus when I was like 12 or whatever. Yeah, so like, but it probably put more into it than I did in my first car.
Yeah. So looking at these paint sets, testers, just for the enamel gloss, just your regular $29.
And that's a deal because how many jars? That's like 6 or 7 jars. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. So all right. So you're a few bucks a piece, and that's an Amazon price. So like what I saw at the hobby shops when I was going to buy stuff for my kids I think they were close to like $7 or $8 at least a piece.
Oh my God. I mean, look at some of these things, man. Like that's not a bad. Is that just a?
That's just the rack.
That's just a rack.
Yeah. Then you got to fill it.
So a lot of the guys I saw using these, they were using acrylics.
Really?
Yeah. And another thing I saw that was really neat is I love when people hack stuff. They were decanting spray paint. So they're basically taking spray paint, putting it into other jars, and then using that spray paint.
Oh, to brush.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought that was a really cool idea. But I know my first time I'm going to get paint everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just crazy some of the stuff. I mean, $7.72 for that one bottle.
Yeah. See, that's what I was seeing, like $7 to $10.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I guess this is what
spray paint's crazy. Look at the price on spray paint.
$16 for some micro. So I'm probably going to spend a couple $100. And then my obsession is going to be, do I start airbrushing and start doing stupid shit?
I want to buy an airbrush kit so bad, but I just feel like I'll be horrible at it. Like, I mean, unless I'm just trying to do like one solid color, make it look cool. Like, well, you did automotive, right? So you didn't get into auto body too much.
No, I mean, I've used an airbrush before. So when I was a store manager at Michael's, we had one.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we had it, but I messed around with it one time on a piece of corrugated, and you can really tailor it to be no paint at all to just a little bit. So there's really not a lot of, you can't really make a lot of mistakes. Like the majority of the mistakes happen where you don't thin it out enough and it just. Okay. That's probably where you can become more, but you can really tailor that back to like basically not doing much.
I don't know. I always picture like people use airbrush as like actual like artists. Like, like there's people who could paint these with an airbrush,
right?
Easily.
Yeah.
Like the guys at the Big E where like they're painting T-shirts,
like,
I mean, that shit's amazing. And like, that's how I picture like airbrush usage. And I know it's way more versatile than that. And, but like, if I'm going to get into something like that, I feel like I should at least be able to do some kind of detail work. Like, I can hold a spray can and, spray paint a Pinewood Derby car. That's about it.
Let's see how much, just the regular acrylic paints are. I can't spell to save my life. So I guess these aren't too bad because they were using basic stuff like this.
Really?
Yeah. And
so not model paints, just regular everyday kind of craft paints. That's cool.
So that's not too bad. I'm sure like Michael's probably has these kits you can buy too from there.
And so where do you think you want to start? You like with this in the sci-fi realm? Do you want to like build the Millennium Falcon or something, or like?
That's without a doubt. That's down the road.
Yeah.
I want to do just cheap, stupid stuff right now.
Or the
just
Enterprise.
to
You would do the Enterprise.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan, like I said, of the Space Odyssey. I want to do like HAL and all that kind of stuff. Like one of the little bubbles that they showed, had the little arms, had the guy in there with the red suit,
Yeah.
So that stuff's really cool. I'm just not like a tank guy. I love Modern Warfare, like when I play on my video games, but I don't want to sit there and do any of that stuff. Maybe not yet.
Yeah, see, I'd be hot rods and stuff still. Like I'm still like a car guy.
Are you really?
Yeah. Like I don't know. I'm not as into sci-fi for sure as I used to be. When I was a teenager, and actually even younger, like I was obsessed. And now like I enjoy it, but I'm not like, I don't analyze it as much when I see a movie as much as I used to now, or when I used to then. But like I still like cars, like the visual appeal of a cool looking hot rod. So that's where I would go.
Yeah.
But I'm just like I'm wicked. I have a feeling this is gonna come out like shit.
Yeah, I'm sure my first X amount are gonna be trash.
Yeah.
But I guess like you said, learn a new skill, and those skills be refined over time.
Yeah,
and then you eventually get there.
Like if you get into it, it's undeniable that just doing more of it is going to get you better at it.
Right.
That's how we work. As humans. I'm afraid of like getting passionate about it and then getting that like not seeing it progress as fast as I would want it, and I'm like, fuck this. And, then, I got $400 worth of modeling paints and stuff that I'm using to touch up random shit around the house now, that's because that's like where I go. The one thing I can't believe that I've stuck with as long is music lessons. Like,
right.
Cause I suck. I can play a couple chords, so I've been doing that for like 2 or 3 years. And, I did get bored. I was playing bass originally, then I switched to guitar because I got bored with bass because I'm like, okay, I'm not practicing. I'm not going to progress any further.
Yep.
So now basically I just pay a guy to come over and force me to do 30 minutes of practice on a musical instrument every week. Like that's the extent of it.
That's accountability. You pay someone else to make me accountable.
So maybe I'll find a guy that I give $20 to come over and make sure I like build a model for half an hour. Like, no, sit back down.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. Like, look, some of these things you can drop some serious dough, and that's what I'm afraid of. Like, look at this paint set, $119.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that's that's gonna be.
So tie dyeing. I got into tie dyeing last year. I'm gonna try. So I learned some cool tie dye techniques. Ordered some some dyes. We did like a family tie dye session out in the backyard, and I did some pretty cool freaking designs. And then I'm like, all right, I kind of feel like I'm about as good as I'm going to get a tie-dye. So, but in the meantime, I had ordered like $100 more worth of tie-dye. Like, I'm like, okay, I need better dyes this time. So I have a box of like, probably like industry standard, dyes for tie-dyeing, like sitting in my bedroom right now. I'll get to that,
Oh my God. See, that's and that's the thing. I don't mind putting something away for a little while to be able to come back to it when, I have time or whatever. But I can show you 50 things in this house that I started that I didn't.
This is my whole house. 50 things. My entire house is a project I haven't finished.
Look at that metallic paints. God, I could talk about this all day. And then I'll be on to something else.
Actually, I should see if I have a photo of my tie-dye venture.
I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go to Michael's. I hate to walk back in that place again, but.
Oh, that's right. So, yeah, thankfully, every place I've ever worked has gone bankrupt. So
me too. That was the only one that's
the only one stuck around. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, you got a handful of them.
Caldor's, Lechmere, Payless.
Oh, yeah.
You can keep going.
I always forget that. Well, I mean, that's just retail in general, but.
Yeah. I actually saw my old assistant manager at Hobby Lobby. Is it Hobby? Yeah, Hobby Lobby. And, of course, I go to get in there. You had to wait outside. They only let so many people in at a time.
Are they still doing that, or is this?
Yeah, I don't know. It was then. I very rarely ever like to hit the mall.
That's a bunch of models there.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't impressed with them. They were very cheap, but I guess starting off, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, it's no internet, obviously. That's the abyss of finding shit. So.
Well, you know what's funny? Looking at these things, I get nervous because some of the places that they say, so like my daughter's credit card got hacked a little while ago. She bought something off Etsy, and they used her credit card information to buy other shit. So if you look at some of the sellers on these things, they're like, I mean, like, that's bullshit. You're going to steal my card.
Yeah, you got to buy from, like, reputable folks. You know what got hacked on me? My PlayStation account.
Oh, really?
I don't even play PlayStation. I only have it because I own a PlayStation. I think I might have, bought a couple movies, or actually, no, I bought a couple games, for the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
They're all Xbox kids. So I have PS3. I wake up one morning and I got like all kinds of alerts from my bank saying
my God.
Oh, your balance like dropped below $100, because I had it linked to my debit card, which I didn't do, which I didn't know. Usually I wouldn't do that. I would go credit card,
Right.
And so I log on and it's like, oh, verify these transactions. It was like, I don't know, like $70 or whatever, like 5 or 6 times. Might have been more than that. And eventually it started declining. I mean, I got all my money back.
Yeah.
But yeah, all PlayStation. And I'm like, I called the bank and I'm like, what the hell? He's like, I've seen this before. He's probably like buying like memberships for all his friends, like annual memberships or whatever. Like, he's like, I know this price. He's like, yeah. He's like, that's what this is. He's like, and eventually we stopped, like, after like the 6th one or whatever, we started turning them down. And I'm like, holy shit, man, I still can't get into my PlayStation account. Can't get a hold of anybody at Sony.
Oh, because he probably locked you out.
Yeah,
Change your password.
Oh yeah, well, it definitely changed, and I didn't know my password to begin with. So it's like, and they actually, I got an email notification saying that my contact email had been changed. Like they got it changed.
So he did everything, yeah.
But luckily I only had one form of payment in there, and my bank is, banks do what banks do. But yeah. So Lauren got,
yeah,
yep.
She freaked out for a minute, and then I tell her just call the bank, and they took care of everything. But I told her, I said, because that happened to me. She wanted she was young too. I don't remember how old she was, but she wanted all this weird shit. She basically had some money to spend. I used my card. I took her Amazon cards, and next thing I know, same thing. My phone starts going crazy, and it's like, thank you for your purchase. Thank you for your purchase. And the latest one was, well, not the latest one. The one that finally got him pinched was, they tried to buy something at a bodega in Florida for $250, and that's when they finally got wise to it. But I mean, look at some of these right here. Something like that. Replica of the Expanse. See, I would do something like that. Like that's pretty cool.
Now, are these like put together models in addition to like painting? Or?
Yeah, so you put them together.
So that's the box. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like, some of them are just like snap a couple panels together and then, like paint it.
So this might be
like I used to like assemble the engines and like put the spark plug wires in and shit.
This is only $6. I'm pretty sure this is probably a piece of shit. I'm gonna go with that. But look at this.
Oh, the Discovery. There it is.
There it is right there, right? So, I mean, stuff like this is ridiculous. I'm not doing anything like that. But, they have a whole bunch of these, which is pretty cool. And then you can paint them.
So the figures, I got to imagine, are mostly just kind of pieced together real quick.
And well, a lot of them come together just like that.
And it's mostly the painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, so like all these big resin pieces, you have to sand them down, glue them on, fill the gaps.
Because they're molds and shit.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like prep work, mostly, Painting probably goes quick because a lot of these guys will use their but this is what got my attention right here the other day.
See, the painting is the part I know I'll suck at. Like to get that realistic. Oh, dude, it's
a little War of the Worlds, and this thing lights up.
Yeah.
It doesn't show it in the picture, but how people put their own pictures at the bottom.
Yep.
So this one lights up purple on top and stuff. So that's pretty cool stuff. But they were, I was watching videos where guys were taking LEDs and wiring them right through the whole thing with all these wires. I'm like, I can't do that.
See, that I did with my.
Did you really?
Models.
Yeah.
I put headlights in them and shit.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like after the fact, like I went back once I learned how to do it. It was another like obsession of mine.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'll go back and put lights and so then they kind of crossed over each other.
Oh.
Like, and actually I still have like I actually just started throwing out random shit where I'm just like, I have this idea, and I'm like, I'm never gonna do this. I had an old RC car, like another one. So I have a whole bunch of RC cars, but I had a '64 Impala that I bought. Like, I don't know, I was obsessed with it. It was the cheesiest thing. This is when Radio Shack still existed, and I saw it in a Radio Shack like ad. It wasn't that long ago because my wife bought it for me, and it was a '64 Impala, but it had like. It like hopped.
Oh, no kidding.
And it had like could do like like 3-wheel and shit like that. So I was like, I need that. Like that's like the Dr. Dre RC car, right? So she got it for me, and it was on display more than anything, but I ripped it around every once in a while. It was pretty cool, but it wasn't like a build your own RC car. But anyway, so it has to be at least 15 years old. Started getting my kids into RC cars. I got back into them like a year or two ago, and I got them ones that, even though most of them now, even the really good ones, are ready to run. You can just buy them, slap a battery in them, buy a radio, and you're good. I'm like, no, I want you to do it like I used to do it. Like, let's assemble this together. And it was like a father-son thing. And so I broke my good one, my new good one, because my nitro one has been broken forever. The one I spent like an engagement ring's worth on, and so now I'm like, well, I'm gonna take my '64 Impala out. So the batteries don't work, thing don't stay running, tires are dry rotted. I'm like, well, it's got all kinds of cool motors. Like it's got a multi-channel motor, like it's got this, and all this. So I'm like, I'm gonna save it, even though the thing's a piece of shit. This has been 2 years now. Like it was on the block to get thrown out, and then now it's in my like bookcase of pending projects, right? So just the other day, like I've tried to like purge, like I'm trying to like purge like a couple things a week, just there's just so much random shit, everywhere, and it's like you can never get rid of it fast enough, it's everywhere you look. I'm like, why do I still have that? So that was one of the things that I got rid of the other day.
Oh, we just had that dumpster, remember, a few weeks ago.
That's right, yeah. Oh, well, you purged the garage, right?
Well, garage and a lot of stuff out of the house. Did you ever see the ET I have over there? I really messed up with the case that it came in. Before I had the dehumidifier put in, the fish tank was making this place.
Oh yeah,
I'm surprised like this stuff didn't get all rotted. I mean,
I never even thought about that.
Rusty,
the amount of humidity that adds. Yeah.
So all the metal stuff got on kind of rusty, but you press a button and this finger glows.
Oh no shit! It's like an old school like.
Yeah, so I was one point I was obsessed with going to like flea markets.
Oh yeah, we do that a lot.
Do you remember that one down in Ludlow? That was in that old factory right on East Street.
I've never been to that one.
So I don't know if it's still there or not, but
you got one right in Palmer.
Yep.
I go to that one.
Well, we have a bunch of them. Like there's a bunch of like there's one at the end of the street right here. So I went in there like 3 times and I saw it, and I think he wanted like $45. It wasn't a lot of money, right? But I'm not paying $45 at a flea market. So I went back one day and I'm like, hey, will you take $35 for that? He's like, yeah, absolutely. He goes, I've been wanting to get rid of this thing for a while. So then I went home and there's a serial number. So I looked it up and it's actually worth a couple $100. So, well, I don't know about now since I totally food barred the case on the outside, but I'm sure I could clean that up and redo that because it's just wood. I could just sand that down. I don't know if that does anything to the value. Probably does, but
depends if you can tell or not.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. Like I would like to do another ET. That was like another childhood, experience.
Yeah.
So, stuff like that I want to get into. I just hope I don't get into like I got 10 models kicking around and I haven't, I'm still on one. Because she'll get pissed. I think she's had enough. Like, look at this. $284 for that Star Trek.
I Oh, but it looks like it lights up. Oh yeah, polar lights, everything.
Yeah, look at that thing.
That was like probably my prize model. Is I ventured away from cars because I did some really cool ones. I did like a 55 Chevy, did a 57 Chevy, I did a 32 T-Bucket. I did a B29 Super Fortress. So like basically, and it was the Enola Gay. So it was a
sweet,
model
yeah.
of the of the B29 that dropped the A-bomb on Hiroshima.
Yep.
And I mean I painted the freaking the little pilots and everything. They had the turrets were all functional. They all rotated.
Oh, no kidding.
Landing gear was operational, and this was like piece it together and glue it and make sure like this was build every single piece, snap it out of a little piece of plastic. Like this thing took me forever.
Wow.
And I used to paint the lettering on the tires, it said Goodyear. I'd highlight it in silver away, like with a toothpick. Like I went nuts, and I had that thing hanging with fishing line like from my ceiling in my room for years, because that was like. I
remember you used to do that with the fishing line.
Oh yeah. That was like the pinnacle in my modeling career.
Yeah.
Like once I finished that thing, and it took me forever. And the worst part, in like using that glue. Gluing in windshields and shit. Like I don't know if you remember, like you couldn't touch.
Oh yeah,
the shit ate the plastic.
Yep.
So like, I mean, the thing had glass, windshields everywhere. It's got the the cockpit and all the different turrets, and I'm trying to keep all that shit clean because all that messes up the plastic. After that, I was like, this is it. That was my mic drop modeling moment right there. That was when I was out.
Get out while you still can.
Get out while I'm on top.
Yeah, this is gonna get ugly. I can tell you right now.
Would that be cool? Actually, was that the V8 engine go up?
Yeah,
the functional
the functional V8 engine.
It's the one thing my parents will never let me get.
Really?
Functional V8.
Oh, damn it!
And they used to have one that was clear, like you could.
Well, this one's clear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
where you can see everything work. I'm like, why can't I get the functional V8?
Like, I wonder how long that takes you to build. $70. Is that an afternoon, or is that what does that look like? But you look at some of the prices on this Lego stuff.
Oh, Legos are out of control. So
I was gonna buy the Millennium Falcon Lego set. They want like $800 for that thing.
Because it's aftermarket, right? It's not from Lego.
It's from Lego. So I'll punch it on here. I saw it right on here.
Because most of that stuff is secondary market resellers.
Like,
like people buy that shit and mark it up.
So I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to look at that. I'm not sure if it was from Lego directly, but it was Lego.
Yeah. Like that stuff is kind of like, it's like the Air Jordan of like toys. So you have to know when it's coming out and you have to buy it because they're super limited, and then people mark up the shit out of it. I mean, Legos are expensive. Period. Like even like if you go to a Lego store.
Yeah.
I say expensive, but a lot goes into Legos. I have no problems with Legos, but then collectors like buy them, or resellers buy them and then resell them.
Like right here, the Imperial Star Destroyer, $699.
There's no way that's.
So let's see here. So they don't make these anymore. Is that what you're saying? And then that's why they're so expensive.
So they only do. I mean, some of them are really, seem expensive for what would be considered a kid's toy. I guess it's not a toy, but. I would bet.
So this is right from Amazon. Ships and sold by Amazon.
That's crazy. What if you do a Google search for that? Like, I wonder if it says if it's like sold out. Well, that's 5,000 pieces. That's actually a lot of pieces.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
the Millennium Falcon was. God, I don't know if I'm saying it right or not, but I want to say it was a couple thousand pieces, maybe, or maybe over 1,000. But I can't believe I can't find it because I found it that one time.
But I know Legos is one of the things that like they are collected and they're kind of scalped and like secondary market resold, because collectors, especially in that realm, like that Star Wars realm, that fandom type realm, like Harry Potter shit.
Oh, right here, $799 right here.
That's the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's another one for $300.
Yeah, but I think that's a what does this say? Not the same thing.
Different models, yeah.
Different models, yeah. So this is the ultimate Millennium Falcon.
Right, it's got all the dudes. Look at it. Oh yeah,
7,541 pieces.
I see Chewbacca. I see Princess Leia. Definitely.
Holy
Han's gotta definitely be.
Christ!
Oh yeah, everybody's there.
Look at this guy.
That's gonna be you.
Oh my God!
Actually, no, not Legos, right? You're not interested in Legos.
You know, I'm not against Legos.
I love Legos.
Let's hear this. Well, actually, I probably can't because YouTube will get.
You know what my problem with Legos is that so many of the pieces now are purpose built, right? So like when I first remember Legos were all red, like
you could do whatever you want with them.
You do whatever you want, and like everything you did, like was constructed out of like basic square bricks. Now look at that. Look at those little like porthole jet things, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't now once you build, and a lot of people, just like models, they're building them and they're never going to be taken apart again.
Yep.
But that was like my favorite part of Legos is like, okay, I built the thing that like came in the kit. I built the fire station or whatever the hell it was, and maybe I even built a fire truck. But then I took it apart and I could build whatever I wanted. But what are you going to do? First of all, you're spending $500, $600, $800 on this thing. You're not taking it apart. So the creativity's gone. Like you built the one thing that they wanted you to build, and then it's done. You can't even buy like just a bunch of Legos.
Well, I think some guys too, they glue these things in.
Oh yeah. So they never
falls apart. Yeah. I only know of one person that actually built one of these. I'll have to call him and find out how long this took for him to do.
I think Tony Rossi built one.
Did he really?
He's got a bunch of them. I wonder should we call him?
What's he been up to?
He is he's working, last time I talked to him, he's up in Portland.
Good old Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine. I think he might be headed to Rhode Island. I wonder if am I still tied into your thing, I wonder? Probably not. I don't think this thing saved my Bluetooth.
See if it sees it.
What's that thing called?
Roadcaster Pro. Look at this guy. This guy looks obsessed too. He's like, just look at the seriousness in his face. Then you got this guy over here with
it's got the whole internal structure.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, man. This thing is no joke. I mean, 7,200 pieces. Like, what does that take you to build? I will tell you this: if I came home with this, my wife would absolutely shoot me.
All right, let's see if this works. Oh, it's ringing, right? You hear that?
No, it's only ringing on the phone.
Is it?
It's loud enough. You can hear it from the mic.
Hey.
What's up?
We had a question for you. So you're on You Can't Handle the Pluff. We're doing an unscheduled Wednesday night.
What's going on, man?
Jeff's here. Obviously it's his podcast. We were trying to get you on Bluetooth, but it's not working. So now we're just talking to you about speakerphone. So did you do the Millennium Falcon Lego thing?
I not the huge one, but the bigger one. Yes.
All right, so Jeff's like, we started talking about models because he's thinking about getting into like sci-fi models and different stuff, and then we started looking at Legos, and there's like a $700 Millennium Falcon Lego thing.
Yes, there is, and there is a $500 or thereabout Slave One, which I do have, and I did do.
Nice.
Yeah, so I knew you had a couple of them. You didn't do a Death Star though. What else did you have? You had a.
I don't know. I just got a Yoda one that the company I was working for gave me one, and that's the big one. It's like the 12 to 18 inch tall Yoda Lego model.
Oh yeah, we're looking at that right now. Oh, that's fucking cool. He kind of looks like an orangutan. That
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does look a little hokey. I don't know.
Now, what's the time on that to put that together?
Yeah, how long did it take you for the Millennium Falcon?
The Millennium Falcon took me a couple hours, but the Slave One took like 4 days.
Did it really? Wow.
Yeah, yep. And because it's just like you have to do it in like sections, and then it's just like you get kind of burned out, even if you're like a super geek like myself. So
did you like some people glue all the parts together so it stays intact.
No, I don't. No, I don't glue them together.
Is that like blasphemy in the modeling world?
The Lego world.
It is
Yeah.
because it gets all sloppy and it looks like shit. And when the glue dries, it pushes the pieces away from each other.
Oh, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not
so
what
you
it.
got
Like, look at
gaps and
this right
shit.
here. Imperial Shuttle, $299.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. Look
So-
at this one right here.
So
The
there,
Ewok Village.
there is a Lego hookup that will not be named.
Yeah.
But so we'll talk about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk
I
about
don't.
that.
Yeah, I don't know but yes, there is an unofficial Lego hookup.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
Look up the Athunk Tower from Lord of the Rings. I have that one. I haven't done that one. That one's like 3 feet tall.
So Lord of the Rings.
Orthok.
How do you spell that?
O-R, I don't know.
our thonk.
This might be it
Yeah.
right here. Oh, there it is right there.
Oh yeah. 450.
450. I mean, 450 beans right there.
Yeah, I have that one and I haven't even done it. I wonder if that's like worth something on eBay, but I would never do that.
Well, it's worth $450 on Amazon.
Oh,
So
well, they don't. I don't even know if they make it anymore. Oh,
No,
well, they
that's-
must. It's on Amazon. Yeah.
well, no, that and well, you don't forget resellers can go on Amazon. That was one thing that Jeff and I were talking about is that a lot of people collect and resell like Legos, like they'll buy them when they come out and then sell them at a profit.
They're like scalpels.
Yeah.
Scalpers.
Kind of like I do with my flannel shirts.
Yes. I actually almost wore one today. It's cold up in South Portland.
It was chilly this morning, but then it got hot, and I regretted putting on a flannel. But how much longer are you up there?
I am up here a few more weeks, I think, and then I'm going to Rhode Island for another massive project.
Nice. You were already there. You were there. Oh no, you were in Boston, but you were going to stay in Rhode Island, right? Or you stayed in Rhode Island?
Yeah, it was like I don't know. I don't remember. That was a few years ago. That was I know where you're talking about, but that was
That's right. You weren't working in Rhode Island. You were,
yeah, I was working in like Dartmouth or something.
Yeah.
I forget what.
All right, man. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for guest starring on You Can Handle the Bluff. We had, we had
No
some.
problem. Yeah.
We were happy to use you. It's kind of like Pawn Stars, where it's like, oh, I know a Lego guy. I know a Lego guy. I'm gonna give him a call. Hope you don't mind.
I get a guy.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you.
All
All right,
see ya.
bud. They have a Godzilla. Oh, it's Godzilla. But this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the kind of stuff that this guy was making on a scratch.
But he's like making that like just out of parts in a box.
Yeah, he just takes a look at it. He goes, I can do that. And he just nails it.
That shit amazes me. Really does.
I don't have the mental fortitude yet.
So where is we're gonna change it up. So
Yeah.
where's the camper?
Camper's at a friend's house.
Oh, okay.
He's got a camper too, so he just parks it next to his.
Yeah.
We already had mice in it already.
Oh, great.
So my wife goes there to go just to putz around, and there's a couch in there, so she knows there's a blanket in there. She's like, well, I should probably get that out of there. Opens up and there's mice in there already. Baby, they're just born within a couple days.
What'd you do? You gotta take quick action because they.
So my daughter took them to work with her, and tried hand feeding them and stuff like that, but they died.
Well, I'm talking about eradication.
So that's what she was going there to do originally, like put all the mothballs down and.
So, and I don't want to. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So I read that mothballs, like in a small dose, don't do enough.
Okay.
I don't know what the right answer is. I will say that I've had problems with mice, like in my house, my shed, like everywhere.
Yeah.
And the one thing that seems to work is mint.
Right.
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
And what I did in my camper, both my pop-ups for the last couple of years, is I got Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap, which has like the actual essential oil in it.
Yep.
And I just chopped it up and threw it like in all kinds of random spots, like all through the camper.
So she was doing that with Irish soap.
Oh, Irish soap's supposed to work too, actually.
But some people some people from the camp said they literally eat that shit.
I've heard that also.
But peppermint was the one that everybody could pretty much agree on. Like that was the best.
Yep.
Apparently they make these mint sacks, like specifically made for campers.
Okay.
And there's, like you said, there's a high concentration of oil into those sacks, and you just throw them in the corners and stuff like that, and or wherever they get in. But they already made their way in. Like they already found.
Yeah.
Little bastards.
Yeah, because like in the winter, I get them in my house.
Oh wow.
Like I don't know where the hell they come in, but I've been battling with them since I've been in my house.
No kidding.
You know, like not an infestation by any means, but like during the winter, noticeable presence. Like I start seeing like issues in the pantry. You know, my pantry's down in my basement, so I'll see, you know, like box of macaroni chewed up, you know, or stuff or something like that. What really tipped me off when I first moved in within the first couple of years is, and this was wild, I went to clean my oven, like run the cleaning cycle, and no, it's not as bad as you think. At least not where I think you were going with that. I just went to, you know, you have to like slide the lock over.
Yeah.
I slid the lock over and dog food came out.
Oh, no way.
So I was like, oh, that's weird. You know, but at the time, I think my son was like 2 or 3 years old, my first son. So I'm like, oh, maybe,
stuffing it in there or something.
Because the dog food's across the kitchen. Like stove's here. Like other side of the kitchen, dog food. I think my son came in, like jammed it in, you know, in the slot, whatever. So I lift up the thing that covers like where the burners are. It's full of dog food.
No kidding.
Full. I'm talking like I had to get the shop vac. And like here I am picturing dog food, you know, like at the time I had a Dalmatian, so it wasn't small little kibble, like it was, you know, good full size dog food. A mouse, or maybe many mice, carried these shit one by one and stuffed it like underneath the burners of my stove. I'm like, this is absolutely wild to me. Like, and every once in a while, like we would hear, like I had a finished basement. We'd hear something scurry like across the ceiling.
Yep.
Like in the sheetrock.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, it's a fucking mouse, you know. I never really did. I threw a couple mouse traps. I mean, then shit got serious. Like I was like mouse traps everywhere like that. But yeah, I mean, you gotta act quick.
Yeah.
And like my shed, it's like a lost cause. Like I can't put anything fabric in there. You know, lawnmower bags, lawn furniture.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's as good as shredded. The next.
I'm lucky. I have 2 cats.
Yep.
And I think one of them probably wouldn't know what to do with a mouse if he caught it. The other one be mincemeat.
When I had my first cat, who we rescued off Skinner Mountain.
Oh yeah.
I had nothing. He used to bring, you know, your cats bring you the trophies, you know, moles, squirrels.
Oh wow.
Chipmunk. I mean, you name it, this cat took it down.
Yeah.
I never lost a chicken when I had this first cat.
Yeah.
Like nothing. He was a strictly outdoor cat, but you know, he got hit by a car. So I'm like, I didn't have a choice. He was an outdoor cat to begin with. You know?
So we had one of those. He wanted no part, or she wanted no part of ever being in the house.
Like he loved being in, but when he wanted to be out, he wanted to be out.
Yep.
And like he was funny because like he would sit up on the roof of the house, and he would be sitting up there when we would get home from work, and he would crawl down the roof. And we have another roof that like sits underneath our bathroom window, and he would go sit by the bathroom window till we let him in the window.
Oh, no kidding.
And then he would hang out with us for a few hours, and then he'd want to go back out sometimes, spend the. But we never had an issue with anything. Still mice in the shed a little bit. Never really so much in the house except for that. Actually, no, we didn't have the cat when that first issue popped up. My other cat, indoor cat, you know, from day one, and I don't want to let him out because I don't want to go through that other stuff again. She's brought us one mouse, but I don't think she knows what the hell to do.
Right.
You know? I think she probably tried to play with it, but she doesn't have that like. I almost
that
just
prey
like,
drive.
Yeah, just like yesterday or today, I was thinking like I need a barn cat. Like I need a barn cat just for outside. You know, to handle the shed because like shit's getting wrecked.
Yeah, they'll make pretty good.
Yeah,
like they have a perimeter. They keep that clean. They pretty clean.
Yep.
Our outdoor cat. So we had coyotes coming around constantly. We tried getting her in the house, and it was the coldest day of the year. I had made her a nice box with the insulation and stuff in there, and she would go in there, and I said to my wife one night, I said, we whatever we do, we got to get her in the house tonight. Because typically in a winter, you could get her to be in here all winter if she had her own space.
Yep.
The minute she sensed that the weather was nice outside,
Gone.
She'd cry and scream and wait for you to open the door and dart out. And that's where she was for the whole summer and, through the fall or spring through fall. And we had coyotes coming around like that whole week. So I would go out there and shoo them away and stuff. I think they eventually got her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So,
She just disappeared one day.
no shit.
Yep. And she was such a lovable cat. She would come up and hang on your lap. You could give her baths. Like, she loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
She just could not handle being inside the house. So we never had mice. She would constantly leave stuff on our doorstep. A lot of moles.
Yeah.
Or voles. She was a squirrel killer. I don't know if we were friends on Facebook at the time, but I used to put like cat 4, squirrel 0. And I used to watch her. I used to have to scream at her not to do it. So, we have the railroad ties outside or whatever we call those things.
Yeah. Over by the other side of the driveway there.
Yeah. So she would crouch behind that, be totally invisible. You couldn't tell she was there.
Yeah.
And, of course, these squirrels all had their pattern going across the street. She would inch forward, and then sure enough, she would hit them. And it was all over and done with, like, in seconds.
Wow.
And they were dead. And I used to yell at her, why do you kill the squirrels? But for her, she just had to do it.
Yeah. That's not that I want to kill the squirrels. Squirrels are relatively harmless, I guess. Chipmunks are freaking hard. My wife makes fun of me. I'm like Bill Murray in Caddyshack with frickin' chipmunks.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So chipmunks are wicked invasive.
Oh, I know.
And like they can they can literally like burrow under your foundation.
Yeah.
And like cause your house to sink. And never had an issue with them. You know what did it is with the whole COVID thing. I don't know if it was like the less presence of people and activities. Like all of a sudden, my yard is like infested with chipmunks.
Wow.
I can find them burrows everywhere, like crazy. So this is like over 2 years now. I've been battling the holes in the yard. Just different things. The garden getting destroyed.
Yep.
No matter what I do, like even the mint thing, which I got like a freaking half gallon of mint essential oil, and I try not to use like anything too toxic. But like now I was like. And by the end of last year, I was like at my wit's end. I'm like, I had like some of that like great stuff like insulation, and I'm like spraying it down the holes and then packing it. Nope, they dig right around that shit. Like flooding the tunnels, like all that. Nothing seems to work. Finally, like I just went to like a local like grain store where we buy our chicken feed and stuff like that. And I'm like, what do you got? He's got a whole end cap of like
just dedicated.
He's like, I'll be honest. He's like. I got a ton of stuff over there. He's like, best thing to do, get a 5-gallon bucket, fill it half with water, top it with peanuts, and put a board that goes up to it. He's like, and usually go collect chipmunks all day. And like, I feel bad about it, but like, I don't know what these things are doing. Like, I mean, I'm finding like holes like all over my yard. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing underneath here. Like, I don't need my house to be sinking.
They're creating a whole colony.
Yeah. And it's like, it just doesn't go away. Like I cover one hole. Like I had some leftover concrete from like, I built a shed last year, and I like jammed a bunch of concrete down a hole and then hosed it with water, like just to seal it off. They fucking dug around it. Or they actually dug through the concrete before it even dried.
They're probably looking at you like from the other end of the hole going, this guy, he just doesn't get it.
No, yeah. I got chipmunk middle fingers all up in my backyard right now.
All right, man. We're at 136. Let's call it for tonight.
Yeah, we got a couple of exciting guests, I think, coming up.
Yeah, so next week we have the incredible Bethany Singleton. And then we have Carlos Rios, an old high school friend of ours.
Oh, Carlos Rios.
We're going back.
I probably haven't seen him since high school, maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I ran into him about once or twice.
That,
yeah. But other than that, so he reached out to the podcast the other day, and
that one.
That'll be a good one. So we'll razz him where he's been this whole time. So, all right, give us our sponsors for today.
Yeah. So as always, actually, I'm not even going to talk about the family business, mostly because we're kind of too busy right now and I don't want any more work. But can't ever say enough about my son's business, Bluebee Apparel, found on TikTok at Bluebee Apparel, on Instagram at Bluebee Apparel, bluebeeapparel.com. Currently in the middle of his latest drop, the monochrome collection, not monochrome, but monochrome. Probably the best designs I've seen come out of his line apparel so far. Really, really cool. Well, it's monochrome, but it's his bee with some honeycomb stuff. It's just a really cool design in the color scheme that he picked out is just awesome. As always, he donates 10% of all of his profits to the Honeybee Conservancy, to an organization dedicated to saving the honeybee. Just super proud. He keeps plugging away at it. He's been doing this for over a year. Took a mental and social media break over the summer to kind of relax, and now he's back on his grind. This is his first collection back. Just awesome stuff. Wish I had his drive and creativity. But so I'll plug that. BluebeeApparel.com, TikTok, Instagram at Bluebee Apparel. And that's it. Well, IQ-Inc.com. We'll throw that out there.
There you
go. All I got.
There you go. So we can't forget about Bordeaux & Sons Flooring. We haven't called him out in a long time.
TS Mobile, talked about him earlier.
TS Mobile, if you're looking to get your car pimped out, get a wrap, this guy does some sick things.
Yeah.
And he's
Wraps,
huge.
Lights, audio, video, alarms, remotes. Remote starts. We're getting into remote start season. Huge. Actually, I've had my car for about a year, and I haven't had him reinstall my remote start because I know he's busy, so I hate to bog him down. He's got like other people to deal with. I don't, because he'll be like, "Oh, drop it off tomorrow," and he'll push back like 3 people because that's just the kind of guy he is. So,
and he gives back to the community so much in so many ways. So we definitely we have to get behind a guy like that.
Yep. Tony Shukes, TS Mobile.
Yep. Gave us this great glass.
Yep.
Awesome guy.
Rainbow Rescues, rainbowrescues.org with a Z, right?
With an S.
Oh, sorry.
rainbowrescues.org. That's okay. That's all right.
With an S.
There's no pressure on this.
What did we say? 31, 32 times? I don't have it right. And Joe Amarino, if you give a gay grinder. And what's the new one?
So I don't know what the new book is called. Oh. I don't think he actually has it done yet.
Oh, okay. He's working on another one.
But when it gets done, he's coming back.
Oh, cool.
We'll do another podcast.
Yep.
So you can find his book on reallygaybooks.com, Amazon. Definitely for a good cause. He's a stand-up guy, one of our really good friends on the show. And then I say this for last because I don't want to start crying, but if you follow the podcast and you know how much we're into animal rescue, and we talk about Luna, our one of our rescues. Unfortunately, we lost her last week to leukemia. She went in for a dental and had complications, and that sparked a whole bunch of other stuff, and we did the best we could. We even tried to get her for chemo, and unfortunately she passed away the day before chemo, so that sucks horrifically bad, and our family is really taking it hard. She was a very unique dog that we took the time to understand. So, Brett will tell you, like, every week Brett comes over, we have to put her up in our room because she doesn't like men. But I had a really just crazy special bond with her.
She was warming up to me, though.
She was.
I could feel it. She didn't
want to kill you the last time you saw her.
She didn't want to kill me. That was progress.
She gave you that look, though. She was like, I'm not taking my eyes off this guy.
Like, I'm not sure, but I'm a little more sure than last week. So that I felt good about that. Yeah. Aside from being sad for many other reasons, I'm sad that like I didn't get to know her like you do. Like that, but yeah. But you had that bond, and it's horrible. And I told you a couple times, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So we're gonna have a picture of her at the end of the podcast here, so you guys can see what she looked like, and so we appreciate the kind words from everybody. That was much appreciated. So on another note, we are going to shut this shit down, and we're going to be back next week with another guest.
Another great guest.
Yep. And so, like always, we appreciate you tuning into this shit show. We do our best. Hopefully we're getting better every time. You know, if you got nothing better to do and you want to waste some time, throw us on.
Yeah.
You might have a good laugh.
We had a good time.
Yeah,
so.
this is what we do. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again. Peace.
Peace.